Hello, Tiger fans. It's a new edition of the Perry Thomas Show here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we visit with the head coach of Fighting Tiger football, Perry Thomas. And we had a week off. The Tigers found themselves with some COVID issues, canceled the game down at Point. Coach, you made it through last year unscathed. This year, though, it bites you early, and you start getting calls over the course of the weekend. Next thing you know, there's just no way to play a football game.
Yeah, we got in a critical stage there for a while and had to, tried to practice a little bit earlier in the week, a couple of days by position only, for 30 minutes by position, and keep the field separated and guys not together. And then midweek, we just had to shut it down until Monday. Just had to shut it down. Just had the infected cases get you, but it's more about the guys in quarantine, because when you get those mass numbers, then that just depletes your roster, and there was no way we could play. And then we had to look at a way that we could kind of stop the, flow of this thing and keep it from growing. So we just shut it down for a while and didn't practice, didn't do anything football-wise, other than them having to come and check in with me at night. Like 10 at night and early in the morning, 9 in the morning. So trying to keep them from going home, because oftentimes when you get to go home, that's when you contact it and bring it back with you. So we tried to keep them on campus the best we could. And so they had to do daily check-ins with me over the weekends. But other than that, we were shut down till Monday.
We'll get into that timeline a little bit. Let's rewind just a bit, and it's been a few weeks since that game with Union. We will touch on it briefly, that season opener against Union College at home. Coach, that was a tightly contested contest through most of the football game.
Yeah.
You got down early, responded at halftime, had a chance to tie it up, settled for a field goal, third quarter, kind of a stalemate, and then Union able to tally some scores late. When you go back and look at that, just your viewpoint and some things maybe that bothered you, and some positives that you may have seen from your bunch.
Yeah, I thought that, I thought it was a typical game one. A lot of miscues on both sides. Both teams not really knowing what the others would do. The Union had some different players they had last year. Certainly we did. Union had different OC. So you didn't know what their focus was going to be, and you just come into the game kind of raw and try to play fundamental football. I thought that offensively, we were much improved over last year, even though our starting QB wasn't there. But I thought Josh Meglis came in and did an adequate job and was much improved with the running game. Had some opportunities that we just left out there. It's hard to win college football scoring 18. And we left probably another 14 to 21 points out there that would have been huge. Right for half, I think if we score there, that's going to be huge, and not have to settle for the field goal. But I thought we were much improved, and we just have to correct those mistakes and be able to put the ball in the end zone more. Defensively, I thought we played well through most of the game. The tailback had some yards, but he's a Division I runner. He's going to get some yards. His yardage didn't bother me. What bothered me was the fourth quarter. The first quarter, they scored 7. Second quarter 6, third quarter 0, and that's what you want from a defensive standpoint. One of those scores was actually a pass. The fourth quarter, though, I thought we got a little worn down. We gave them the short field a few times, and I thought we got a little worn down where they weren't just bouncing. Early when they were bouncing, he was getting yards, but we weren't scoring. And then in the fourth quarter, when they were able to start hitting in that A-B gap a little bit and bounce, then we got in a quandary a little bit. And I think that's just part of having some young guys out there to get worn down. And at that point, things kind of snowballed on us. But, things that are fixable, when we can get a complete couple of weeks of practice in with the complete team, things that are fixable. Wasn't totally displeased with the first game, other than the fact that we lost. And, we got to get back to where we find ways to win those games. And that's one of the things we talked about with the guys. There were times here where we would find a way to win that game, And right now, we've been just in a rut. And the only way we're going to get out of that rut is to get ourselves out of it, and we have to win games. So when you have a winnable game like that, you have to take advantage of it and win the game.
Yeah, and I know you had mentioned when we spoke the first time here to kick off the season, a lot of youth on that defensive side, defensive line, linebackers. They're going to make those mistakes early, and then, of course, you have a game where the run game for Union was successful. Did start to wear you down. How did those guys play once they got tired? Of course, it's hard to muster up the energy when the lungs are, not functioning as well as you want.
Yeah, and one of the first things that goes when you get tired is your fundamentals. And the other team starts picking up momentum. So now all of a sudden, a team that you've been shutting down, their confidence picks up. and your confidence begins to wane a little bit. We have some fixes for it, though. We have some ways to get that box a little fresher with those young guys in there, and because they can play ball. They can play ball. So we have a way to fix it, but we got to be able to practice to do it. And with us being shut down last week, we couldn't make the changes. This week's been a short week because we're just getting guys back. But next week in our open week, we're going to address some things, and that's going to help with our fatigue a little bit in that box.
The Tigers get shut down, as Coach had mentioned. Union also got shut down. They were unable to play their game that was scheduled with Morehead State. So Point, I guess, gets together with Morehead, and those two teams decided to play a game since their opponents were no longer available. But walk me through that timeline, Coach. You start to maybe get phone calls Friday or Saturday, I'm guessing, of maybe some symptomatic guys and different things. So now you're waiting on tests. And I know you mentioned you were even up maybe to the middle of the week, thought we're going to try to get this thing in, but there became a fall-off point where you were just out of bodies.
Yeah, so, of course, we played the game on Thursday night, and then Saturday evening is when our trainer Josh Williams started reaching out to me that we had a couple old linemen to test positive, and that put a ton of old linemen in quarantine, and one of our running backs, because a lot of those guys live together. And it just kept snowballing from there, starting on Saturday night. Sunday, we thought we put a plan together on Sunday and Monday to go play. And so we're sent the roster and everything to the coaches and the buses and the hotels, and everything's good to go. And then Sunday, things continued to snowball. So we put a plan in place to shorten our practices on Monday and Tuesday. We put a plan in place to shorten our practices, go by position groups, but we were still going to get on that bus and go play a football game. And then by Tuesday, we had another position group to go completely down, along with the O-line. I think the linebackers went down. And at that point, then the decision was made by higher-ups to, we need to sit that game out. And then we were still trying to practice, though. We were still trying to get better. And then Wednesday, the decision was made to shut it down completely. The defensive backs went down, and so we shut down completely from Wednesday until Monday of this week. Just totally shut it down. And
it was like you mentioned, it wasn't that you had, this super high number of positives relative to the number of guys on the team, but once you start doing that contact tracing, all of a sudden, a few positives becomes 20 guys that are unavailable due to that.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what got you, right?
Yeah. What gets you is the quarantine. Certainly you pray for those guys infected. You don't want them infected because of the illnesses that come with COVID, but the quarantine is what gets you. I think at one point we had maybe 40 guys in quarantine, and not all are always related to us. Sometimes you may go in quarantine because of your girlfriend or because of someone at home if you're a local kid or something. So it wasn't all just football related, and other places people are dealing with it. But for us, 40 people, then you can't get much done, and you also have a kind of an epidemic within the team growing, and you want to stop it the best you can. How do you stop it? That's not an easy answer, because if you shut down, there's a great chance they're going to go home. And when they go home, there's a great chance they're going to go to Uncle Phil's house or go party or something, and then they bring it back with them. So we did some unique things to try to keep them on campus during that time of shutdown, and hopefully it's going to work. Right now we're getting on the bus to go play, so hopefully it's going to work for us.
One thing about it, we all love to go to Uncle Phil's house.
Yeah, there you go.
The Tigers get ready to make the trip down to Waleska, Georgia this coming weekend. We'll let Coach take a brief break here. We'll talk with offensive coordinator Chris Pardue. He's in his second stint as the Tigers OC. We'll visit with him here in just a moment. Stay with us on the Perry Thomas Show.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks all healthy donors to schedule an appointment to give now. With the coronavirus outbreak, it is important to maintain a sufficient blood supply. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
I think it's just vapor and flavors. It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
Get your head out of the cloud.
Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's all good if you think you should check in. Yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Myth. I can party with people as long as they don't have symptoms. That myth is false. As we've seen, up to 40% of people who have COVID-19 are asymptomatic and can pass it on to others. So I'd recommend avoiding any social parties, especially indoor ones. If you want to try to socialize but reduce your risk, I'd recommend meeting outside in small groups, continuing to wear a mask, and socially distancing from others if you can. Then together, we can keep COVID-19 out of school.
For ways to keep your community safe, go to backtoschooltogether.com.
Wash your hands, stay home, cover your cough. It's our new reality with COVID-19. The anxiety can be overwhelming. If you're feeling extra worried, you're not alone. You can still contact a mental health professional. They're ready to help you get through this. And remember, prepare, focus on the essentials. Protect, keep some space from people outside your home, and disinfect a lot. Get the facts at kycovid19.ky.gov. Prepare, protect, disinfect.
Welcome back, Tiger fans. The Perry Thomas Show continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. As we let the head coach out of the hot seat for just a moment, we welcome in the offensive coordinator of Fighting Tiger football, Chris Pardue, who's here for his second stint as OC for the Tigers. Coach, we didn't get to visit last year, but thrilled to have you on this year.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back. You know, I love this university and everything that it stands for, and I was just so excited when the opportunity arose for me to be able to come back again.
And let's touch on it since we didn't get to talk with you last year. You were here for, I think, maybe 4 years for Coach Thomas, right out of the gate. Coached a really good one in Ross Deaton here for the Tigers years ago, and then decided to go back to the high school level. Mercer County, went to Boyle County, finished up your high school career, and now back with the Tigers in retirement. That's got to be a pretty good gig just to coach football full time.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, and you know, I enjoy it. You know, something I actually tell people I get paid for a hobby, something I really love to do, and you know, and I was just amazed when I got the text from Coach Thomas when he knew I was retiring from high school, I guess, and I hadn't planned on coaching anymore after that, but man, when that opportunity arose, I jumped on it.
Pretty good gig, and now here in your second season as offensive coordinator for Coach Thomas, and the Tigers last year was pretty insane to say the least. You get a 7-game winter spring schedule. You avoid the COVID madness, although it hit your offensive line. We'll touch on that a later date, but here this year right out of the gate, you guys look to get into the season, and then it bites you. You lose a game last week off the schedule due to the COVID shutdown, and trying to get back after it now and go down to Reinhardt.
Yeah, it's you know, it's been an unusual 2 years, especially for I think coaches, because I think coaches are really organized people, and you can't be organized with the way things are going right now. You do the best you can, but like I said, things change every hour.
Walk me through this Reinhardt matchup. You lost a lot of practice time. You still are trying to figure out who you have, who you don't have. It may change, as you mentioned, hour by hour, but trying to put a game plan together, trying to go down there and get a win over a top 25 team. This has got to be a tough task, a tall task to say the least, but you got plenty of time to prepare, hopefully.
Yeah, we've had a really good week of practice. Really been proud of the kids and the coaches. They've been locked in and focused, and you know, Reinhardt presents a big challenge for us. They are a very fundamentally sound defense, and you know, they get after you and play hard, so it's going to be a huge challenge for us.
And I know one thing to start the season, Chase Elmore was the projected starting quarterback, had some injury concerns. Josh Meglis did a pretty good job trying to show up there against Union. Short reps, I think he got the nod early game week, which game was on Thursday, so that's a tough task for him as well.
Yeah, it's very tough, you know, when you're going in thinking you're going to be the backup, and, you know, Josh, he was prepared as well as he could be, and I thought he came in and you know, made a few mistakes, but obviously in the fourth quarter especially, I thought he played as well as he possibly could, and short week, short time of practice. That's the position you get put in, but you got to step up and make the plays when you get the opportunity to.
And I know you guys hope to have Chase Elmore back, who played pretty well his freshman year. That's always tough coming in as a freshman, the college level. But Chase did a pretty good job. I know he was dealing with injuries last year, but hopefully you get him back on Saturday. Yeah,
we plan on Chase playing for us on Saturday, and he's done a great job. Chase is really he understands the game of football, and he's like having another coach out on the field, and that's what you want out of your quarterback position.
One of the big additions this year for you guys, Coach, was Deontay Sipp, the transfer from Kentucky Christian University. You get him in. He had a big first week against Union, reeled off a couple of nice runs, 160-some-yarder right there before halftime. He gives you guys a new dimension there that maybe you haven't had in the last year or so.
Yes, I think our running back room is really good this year with Deontay being the leader right there. And, the thing I'm most happy about is getting to meet the young man. He's a special young man and a great kid, great ball player.
One thing last year that you guys dealt with throughout the entire season was the offensive line. A, have you ever seen that or dealt with something quite that bad in your coaching career? And then B, it's got to be a breath of fresh air to have these guys healthy, at least initially, here to start this season.
Yeah, it was. No, I've never been through anything like that. And, just proud of the guys that stepped up, those defensive linemen that had to play both ways in that last game. Our long snapper started at tackle for us the last game. And, it wasn't just COVID, it was injuries as well. And just to have those guys back. And, I think they're much improved just because they got a year of experience under their belt this year.
And then walk me through the wide receiving core real quick, Coach. You've got some playmakers on the outside, and that all starts with Tate Pringle. He's certainly the guy that's going to draw the most attention, but Tate's certainly proven to be a big-time playmaker for you guys.
Yes, Tate, he's got a chance to score every time you throw the ball his way. And, you go back to that Union game and you look at the film and stuff, and they were bracketing him with two defensive backs the whole game last week, and I expect that's the kind of coverage Tate's going to get all year. What we've got to do is run the ball to open those things up, and then the other guys like Michael Walker, Luke Shepperson, Zach Cole, those guys have to make plays in there. Patrick Oden's another one. He did an exceptional job in blocking the last game. So proud of him for that.
You guys take to the road this weekend. If Campbellsville comes out of Waleska, Georgia with a victory offensively, what have you been able to do to help pull that off?
Well, we just got to take what the defense gives us. We got to learn as an offense. I thought last week there were probably 2 or 3 plays in the game that could have been easy scores that we didn't take advantage of. And that's what we got to get good at, is not doing anything special, but I always feel like defenses give you something and taking what they give you.
Coach, best of luck this weekend.
All right, thank you very much.
Coach Chris Pardue and the Tigers hit the road. The offensive coordinator will have to dial it up and try to keep up with that high-powered Reinhardt offense, as Perry Thomas's defense will have to do the work on that side of the football as well. That game's coming your way noon on Saturday down in Waleska. Stay with us. We've got one more segment with the head coach coming up here on the Perry Thomas Show.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You can say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You can chat with them in VR. It's all good if you think you should check in. Yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at sidearm-upload.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
But you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a course online.
You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wash your hands, stay home, cover your cough. It's our new reality with COVID-19. Physicians and public health professionals are trying to protect us because our healthcare system would be overwhelmed if too many people get seriously ill. We have to take their advice seriously. So, prepare, focus on the essentials. Protect, keep some space from people outside your home. And disinfect a lot. Get the facts at kycovid19.ky.gov. Prepare, protect, disinfect.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
Thanks for staying with us, Tiger fans. Campbellsville University Sports Network as we host the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you. Campbellsville University makes the trip down to Waleska, Georgia this week. They'll take on a top 25 opponent in Reinhardt University at Ken White Field University Stadium. Zach Clements and Brett Sal will have the call on 88.7 The Tiger, coverage beginning at 11:45. So, Coach, here after an unexpected bye week of sorts with no practicing, few get-togethers and things like that, you guys will take down to Georgia, and you'll take on a very good Reinhardt team, one that's projected to win the Appalachian Division. So this will be a very tall task for the Tigers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Going down there with a young team with very little practice. One game under our belt and just very little practice, and you're playing the 7th or 5th ranked team in the country that plays a unique offense, one that you don't see much with the jet sweeps and the off-tackle dives and so forth. Very physical, very disciplined team. And it's going to be a challenge for us. Certainly from a head coaching standpoint, you wish you was better prepared with practice and another game coming into it, but at the same time, I think we have a great plan. We have some tremendous young guys on this football team that I think will go down there without any fear and line up against one of the top teams and just see where we're at right now.
And one thing with the shutdown, it may have allowed you to start working on Reinhardt a little earlier than you otherwise may have. With guys in quarantine and being kind of shut down, were you still able to do any meetings, Zooms or teams or anything like that and help the guys maybe prepare and see some things here along the way?
Yeah, so by positions we were able to do some Zooms, and so Monday wasn't the first time our guys had peeped at Reinhardt. So we was able to do some Zooms, and as staff we was able to start preparing and getting ready to go. One of the challenges of that was knowing what our personnel was going to be, because the personnel changes some of the stuff you're going to do in your packages in every phase, and it's been a big hit to kicking game because we haven't known whom we're going to have. And like I said, even today we have somebody go into quarantine, but somebody else comes out of quarantine, and it just throws everything into an influx. But at the same time, I think we'll be prepared the best we can be. It's certainly a challenge, but we as a staff know Reinhardt. They used to be in our division, and we've had some great games with Reinhardt. Some we've won, some we've lost. I think for 3 or 4 years there in a row, we played them for the conference championship, and I think we won 2 and they won 2. And so we've had some great games with this program, and they haven't changed a lot. They're going to be Reinhardt and get after you with their misdirection a little bit and their power moves, and then defensively just be sound.
Perhaps my favorite Tiger game ever is Jacob Russell down there for the conference title, Blake Young's group. You go back to, I think, maybe 2000, and that would have been 14 or 15. One of the great Tiger wins all time. And you had that matchup with Isaiah Wright from Union, that high-level Division I caliber running back. You get another one this week, Devin Collins, who set the program record for rushing according to their website, which is a little surprising.
Yeah.
As much as they ran the ball or run the ball over the course of their program's history, 208 yards now, the program high. And Collins, a guy who has or had at one point the single game record in Georgia high school, 485 yards in a single game for Collins. So you'll get another very talented guy who was linked to Mississippi State out of high school, another talented running back you guys will have to stop.
Yeah, it'd be a challenge again. I mean, he had a couple of breakaway runs in their last game that put those yards up there for him. And, you know, they run a unique offense, so their wings will carry the ball often as much as their tailback. So that's why, you know, you don't see a tailback have 200-plus yards for him. That game, though, they were able to just run wild with him. He was able to break some big runs. Tremendous athlete, and one of the better points for him is their O-line. They're just so strong and athletic. So most of the time we see these 300-pound mammoth O-linemen. Well, with them, you're going to see 260s, 275s, but they all run and run really well. And they're able to get bodies on bodies inside, but also on the perimeter, and that makes them a challenge. As good as the running back is, I think their best runner is their quarterback. You know, we played against us 2 years ago up here, and he had about a 60 or 70-yard touchdown run on us right up the middle. And he did the same thing against, you know, in their first game, about a 90-yard touchdown run in their first game. And they were playing at FCS school. So I think he's a tremendous runner. Especially when they get back there in the gun, now you got to defense both of those cats back there, and that makes it a challenge. Under center, it's typically going to be the wings or the tailback. Very, very good program. Very good disciplined program, sound. You know, they've had their way with people. Last year, I think they made it to the quarterfinals, beating Marion and losing to Kaiser in the second round. And I'm sure they're expecting that run again this year.
Yeah, and Coach Miller's done a really good job since taking over for Drew Cronick.
Right.
And, has a runner-up, national runner-up, so a very solid program there with Reinhardt. And defensively, Coach, they just pitched a shutout last week against Warner. So, you know, talking to Coach Pardue, it's going to be tough sledding for the offense as well. And hopefully some good news, of course, at quarterback with Chase Elmore. We'll see how that goes. But, you know, you guys are going to have to do some things to put points on the board.
Yeah.
Hopefully Deontay Sip can help control some of the clock. So those things also in play.
Yeah, I think so. You know, they're going to play a 4-2-5 typically, and their D-line is going to be really, really good. And they're just going to get after you. Like I said, they don't defensively. They've kind of like us. And through the years, they don't try to trick you or anything. They're just going to line up and play good team defense and be fundamentally sound. And you know, Coach Pardue has a great game plan for them, and we'll be able to take advantage of some things. It's just going to come down to if our roster can take advantage of those things. And we can't leave points off the field like we did in the first game. You know, when you're playing a team like this, you got to take advantage of the opportunities. They're going to run the ball typically a lot more than they're going to throw it. They will throw the ball quite a bit, but they'll run it more. So the game, you have to imagine, will be a shorter game and less opportunities in some ways. So you got to take advantage of those opportunities.
And as always, you love that noon kickoff.
Oh, I do. Actually, you know, I really do. And especially on the road like that. So now you get up in the morning, eat a quick breakfast, shower, and get on the bus and let's go play ball, and you can get back at a decent time. And, you know, going to Georgia is so hot still. So hopefully the noon makes it just a little cooler for us. Typically when they have thunderstorms, they're going to be in that 3:30, 4 o'clock range. So hopefully we can miss all that and get a good kickoff in what, you know it's going to be a great setting at one of the strongest college football places in the country.
Coach, best of luck on the upset bid this weekend.
Yes, sir. We're going to go get it.
The Tigers and Reinhardt coming your way. That is a Saturday noon kickoff, noon Eastern. Zach Clements, Brett Sal will be down there at Ken White Field in Waleska, Georgia for coverage of that game. It begins at 11:45 on 88.7 The Tiger. A special thanks to offensive coordinator Chris Pardue for joining us, as well as the head coach of Tiger football. This is the Perry Thomas Show.